Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all having a good conference. Yes? Good, good. Well, I'd just like to say thank you to Louise for pretty much saying everything that I was going to say in my talk. So my hero is also Stephanie Gray, and I was going to tell a story about Stephanie Gray. And my talk's about getting you to become proactively pro-life. Thanks, Louise. To come to March for Life. Thanks, Louise. And I think I'm done, really, yeah? Thank you. So, yeah, look, I'm going to start off. I had the pleasure of spending just over a week with Stephanie, and I learned a lot. And if anyone's listened to any of Stephanie's talks, she likes to tell stories. She likes to tell stories, yeah? So many stories. Well, the one story that she told me, which really stuck to me, was when she was at high school, she had a teacher, and he was reflecting with the class about when he was at school. And in his class, there was a boy in there that got picked on. I mean, properly picked on. Yeah, every day he was picked on. You okay? Bless you. One day he got that bad that a group of bullies chased him out onto the field, this one lad, and they pinned him down, stripped him naked, rolled him up into a net, and then started hoisting him up on the school flag. There was another student who was at the top of the field, who was absolutely outraged by this. Outraged. Ran down and said, "No, stop, you've got to stop this right now." What do you think happened? Yep, they turned on him as well. They started to strip him naked and do exactly the same thing. But by this time, this teacher who was telling the story, who was a student then, started to come down, big group started coming down and started watching. And you can imagine what it'd be like if it was like in this year, all the mobile phones would be out live streaming it, yeah? So as he reflected on what happened in this injustice, he started sharing this with the class and started saying, out of all those people that were there on that day, who do you think now I could be right this moment if I was to go back into that time? He answered his own question by simply saying, I wish I'd have been the person who stood up for the person who was being bullied. In any great injustice that happens in this world, there is usually four people. The first one is the victim. Second is the persecutor. The third is the bystander. And the fourth is the defender, or the hero. So I think when I listen to that story and relate it to the greatest injustice of all time, I think that for us to say that we're pro-life and to do nothing else about it simply puts us into the person of the number three, the bystander. We can no longer stand by and watch this injustice take place in front of our eyes. We are gathered all here today to become that fourth person, a defender. It is so important that we move from being that bystander to a defender or a hero. There are so many groups around here who are doing absolutely fantastic work. We've seen SPUC Scotland and all the other groups that are dotted around. They are here to equip you, to educate you, and inspire you to become that defender. Now, what I want to talk to you about is March for Life, because March for Life is an opportunity for you, every single one of you, to stand shoulder to shoulder with your brothers and sisters to publicly demonstrate that we are now defenders of the unborn and all the people who suffer from abortion, through abortion. We are here to publicly say, no more. March for Life is the perfect doorway for anyone who wants to come and get a taste of pro-life activism. March for Life is one day in the year where we can come together united as one voice to say no. So Has anyone been to March for Life before? Live from conception? Okay, you're not lying. So what I want to just quickly do is bring you up to speed to where March for Life has come from and where it is now. I'll show you a quick video. We're in our 5th year, and this will just show you a little bit of where we've come from. And I really don't like the way that Louisa looks at me in that photo. So yes, for the last 5 years, I've been asked this question pretty much so every single week. I wish I'd had £1 for every time. Why is March for Life in Birmingham? Okay, March for Life is in London, guys, this year. So the beauty of March for Life is that, yeah, we have grown it from the grassroots, from 40 Days for Life, a midterm event, which was just like literally 50 people wanting to go and witness to the sanctity of life. To tell a long story short, a bit of social media and a bit of promotion, and suddenly March for Life 5 years later has come to London, the capital. And we are so excited about it moving to London, because not only is it going to London, but we're going to Parliament Square. We are going to Parliament Square to pronounce and proclaim the gospel of truth. So what's going to happen? We're going to have so many new additions to this year's event. If anyone's ever been to it before, you would know that we have something called Life Fest, which is where we have this joyous celebration of life, which then goes on to the march. Well, we're going to start things very, very slowly this year, the night before. We're going to have an all-night vigil, which is fantastic, at St. Dominic's Priory, which is just around the corner from Parliament Square. All-night vigil, which is going to have all kinds of opportunities for us to really, really pray for an open hearts and open minds the next day. Then things kick off very early. We've got a number of different Catholic masses going on throughout the city, and we're blessed as well to have a Christian service going on this year as well. And then things kick off at 9:30. We're at a place called the De Vere Connaught Rooms, which is in Covent Garden. And it's going to be indoors, yeah? It's never been indoors before. We're having a whole morning of indoors. We've got workshops going on throughout the mornings from some of the most fantastic speakers in the pro-life movement, one including Anthony, Dr. Anthony. We're going to have a whole schedule of live music. So we've got lots of different bands that are going to be going on all throughout the morning. We're going to have the new edition of the Pro-Life Kiddies Club, where you can bring along your families, you can bring along your children. They can start making their own little flags for the march. They can do all kinds of crafts, face painting and all stuff like that. And then we move on to one of the most fantastic things of the event. every single pro-life organisation, every single one of them is going to be at March for Life this year in one big room as well, showcasing all of their work. And this is the beauty of March for Life, unity. We all coming together. And this is one of the only opportunities as well for the pro-life movement, every organisation to come together. Then we have the march. We march from Camden all the way through the streets of London, and we arrive in Parliament Square. We're going to have a vigil there after some great speakers. So we've got a whole host of speakers this year. We've got someone called Noel Patron. He is an ex-UK abortion worker. Never before has this happened in the pro-life movement, where someone has come out of the abortion industry and has become brave enough to speak out about the atrocities that they have actually witnessed. He cannot be missed, guys. His testimony is fantastic. He's going to be speaking to the whole country in Parliament Square. We've got Claire McCulloch from the Good Counsel Network. We've just heard about the buffer zones crisis that's going on. She's going to be coming along, and she's going to come along with an army of mothers who have changed their minds. It's going to be such a fantastic thing. Because this is the big thing in the buffer zone debate. They want to silence the mother's voice. They don't want to hear the mother who's said, yes, I've received real help from these people, and now I've got a child to show for it. We've got Aisling Hubert, who's going to be giving also a keynote speech as well. We've got 2 politicians we're blessed with, which I can't quite announce yet because they're still kind of there. But on our social media channels next week, we're going to be releasing their names. So 2 politicians who are going to speak at this year's march. We've got Bishop Michael Nazir Ali, who's going to be coming along. Is an Anglican bishop. And we've got a few more other testimonies as well. Rachel Mackenzie from Rachel's Vineyard. Loads of fantastic speakers. So, loads of fantastic speakers, loads of music, loads of workshops to inspire you. What more do we want from a March for Life, okay? So, what do I want from you lot, yeah? I want 4 very simple things. I want you to be there. Yeah? Be there. I don't want you to just be there. I want you to, number 2, spread the word. I want you to, number 3, get onto social media. I want, number 4, to be brave, bold, take a step out of the boat and bring a group. Bring 1, bring 50, whichever God is calling you to do. Bring people with you. Because let's reflect back onto that story right at the beginning. If we look at that group of people who were bystanders at what that injustice was going on, and if we suddenly swapped all of those bystanders for defenders instead, what do you think would have happened? It would have stopped. It would have stopped a lot earlier. So then, we need to be defenders, yeah? We need to be defenders of the unborn and all the people who are affected. And we are so much more powerful when we come out in a greater and larger number. So are you with me? Yeah? Are you with me? Yes. Stand up then. So if you are with me and you are wanting to be a defender, we need to proclaim it today. So after me, I am a defender. I am the pro-life generation. Life from conception